Hello and welcome to this episode of the Unnoticed Entrepreneur. Today, I'm delighted that we're going all the way to Georgia and we're going to talk to Vladimer Botsvadze, who's going to tell me how to pronounce his name properly. But we're going to talk to the #1 in the world digital thought leader, as ranked by Thinkers360.com, about mobile centricity, about customer and audience centricity, and how you can build a global personal brand next to no cost. Vladimer, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jim. It is a pleasure to be here today, and I am excited to share my actionable insights with you today.
Well, you've got so many because you've come from Georgia, you lived in America, then you spent some time in the UK, and
Yes.
you've built a brand, a personal brand out of nothing that's now got over 100,000 followers in just a few years, all based on a few basic principles that you're going to share with us today. So tell us, how do you help entrepreneurs, but also big corporates to get noticed?
I'm excited to be invited to marketing summits throughout the world. So I share my actionable insights with executives, startup owners, and marketing managers. And what sets me apart is my practicality, and the practicality is what is missing throughout the world. So I help my global clients to understand where the consumer's attention is on social media platforms, whether they build a startup, whether they represent a Fortune 500 brand, or the marketing executives are excited to build their personal brands. I share them how to stand out in a global digital marketplace through creating content that is in their followers' best interest. And when I started in 2014, I was very excited about my successes. Now my personal brand is a roaring success in 2022, and I put in a work incredibly to earn everything by it of my hard work. So my clients discover future-proof strategies that help them maximize their success. They stand out in a global marketplace by creating content, and winning attention across 8-10 social media channels. It is a winning formula for global brands. So whether I work with Fortune 500 brands, startup owners, or executives, or events, everyone is excited to capitalize on my future-proof and actionable insights to maximize their success,
Okay, so let's just break that down, shall we?
Yes.
You talk about practical steps as opposed to, I guess, sort of people
Yes.
are just having general theories. Tell us, when you go in and talk to an entrepreneur or a client,
Yes.
just tell us, where do you start? Because people know that they need to create content, but they don't know what kind of content, where it should appear, how often. So can you just take us through, Vladimir,
Yes.
some basic practical steps?
Yes. Patience is a foundational for everyone's success. And without patience, nothing great happens, Rome was not built in a day, and we need to take one step at a time. And I advise my clients to start hitting the ground running on Twitter, because Twitter is a cocktail party for the business world, and it's easy to connect with prospective clients and business world. 85% of global tech leaders use Twitter, and a single reply to entrepreneurs tweet can make a billionaire. I have greatly benefited from my social media presence to maximize my success. So my clients start winning from Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and other social media channels. And there are 8 billion people in the world and 4.6 billion social media users and over 5 billion mobile users, So it is of paramount importance to create content, to be in the spotlight, and to make yourself conspicuous. And consistent action creates consistent results. My clients become very consistent in marketing. They hit the ground running. They win awards because of my actionable insights. And I'm so honored that I have worked on billion-dollar marketing projects with Fortune 500 brands, and they won awards. They maximized their success. They invited me as an advisor to their boards. And I'm always in a transport of delight to share my future-proof strategies with my global clients.
Okay, Vladimir. So you've mentioned a couple of things in there.
Yes.
One is you've started off with Twitter. Shall
Yes.
we just lead on that? Because some businesses think that they need to start with Facebook or with LinkedIn, but you're advocating Twitter. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes. I don't depend only on Twitter, because I also believe putting eggs into different baskets. I don't depend only on Twitter or LinkedIn, because I also have a strong presence on Medium, WordPress, Tumblr, and there are other social media channels. So whether it is a micro blogging platform or blogging platform or video platform or YouTube, because I also share my 48 videos on YouTube, and thousands of people watch my videos, So I have greatly benefited from every kind of content, whether it is like a blog post or a media interview or video marketing is also dominant in a business. So I think I have capitalized on every kind of content to maximize my success and reach new heights,
Okay. So now you have a business which is creating content for
Yes.
yourself to build a
Yes.
brand.
Yes.
What about for businesses that are selling other things?
Yes.
You know, what's your guidance on, let's say, the minimum number of channels that a business should try and send their content through?
You know, I mean, the more content my clients create, the more successful they become. And when I look at startup ecosystem, you know, India now has more than 100 unicorns. Why? Because they capitalize on every social media channel. They have podcasts. They create blog posts, right? So when there is a will, there is a way for Indian entrepreneurs, startup, because they are very open-minded. And open-mindedness is a bedrock of success, because what we like learn strategies at business schools is outdated, right? And active daily learning is number 2 skill by World Economic Forum. And it is of paramount importance to learn actively, daily, connect with thought leaders, to pick brain, and to learn daily from our colleagues, because I also learn from other people to maximize my success. I learn from everyone.
Okay, Vladimir. So in terms of a minimum, would you say that you need to have 3 or 4 channels as a minimum, really? I know that the more you can have, the better. Or is it okay just to focus on one? Because there's a school of thought that says focus on one channel at least.
Yes, I mean, of course, it is a big mistake to only focus on one channel, right? They say that a mouse that has one hole is quickly taken.
Okay.
And we need to depend on several channels. I advise my clients to focus on 8, 10 social media channels that dominate the screen.
Okay. So 8 to 10 channels.
Yes.
And what about frequency? So I have a formula I call active communications index, which is content times channels times frequency. What would you say is frequency in your experience that a company needs to be delivering to every week or every month?
Yes. I would advise marketing teams to put out 100 pieces of content across 8 to 10 social media channels daily.
Wow, 100 pieces of content daily.
100 pieces of content, which means, yes, it is a very competitive field, Jim, you know. And if we want to stay competitive and to stay ahead of the curve, we need to distribute our content wisely across 8, 10 social media channels. If we, for example, when I speak at conferences, then I use this content to distribute on my Twitter, LinkedIn, you know, for different purposes. We need to capitalize. When you, for example, run your podcast, you should also distribute your content on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Facebook, right? Because it is of paramount importance to show the world what you create.
So that's a gargantuan amount of content that you're talking about there, Vladimir. The next question is the type of content, because what many companies do is they produce content really to promote themselves, right? They talk about what they do, what the CEO wants to talk about. How effective is producing self-serving content?
It is of paramount importance, because now there are organizations in marketing and branding business, and there are organizations that are in sales business. And I mean, Jeff Bezos and Nike are at the forefront of their industries because they are in brand building business, because they are close to their consumers. For example, Just Do It marketing, like a commercial, has taken Nike success to the next level, right? It's same for us when we tweet. Twitter built my career. Twitter built my personal brand, because Twitter is a branding platform, not sales. Google is more intent-based marketing, and Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok are more branding platforms, right? So we need to create content, and to create content that is in our followers' best interest, not in our best interest. And when we are in sales business and when we send sales pitches to our followers, those people are neglected, because salespeople rarely manage to build their brands, right? Because they are oriented on short-term goals. And people who create content are at the forefront of marketing, because they are long-term thinkers and they create content that is in their followers' best interest, right? And they close to their audience. And whoever is close to audience is always wins in the long term. My journey has been put on a pedestal because of my audience centricity.
Okay, so I love that term, audience centricity, and being selfless, not selfish with the content that you're sharing.
Yes.
And Vladimir, you mentioned also earlier on about mobile, and some, 4 billion people are on mobile and accessing. I know search, for example, is now more mobile than desktop, and social as well. Things like Twitter, maybe more. What's your
Yes.
guidance in terms of the content creation for mobile platforms? How is it different to content that you might create for a desktop environment?
I think every website should be optimized for mobile devices, right? I mean, I have reinvested every penny in my website when I built a few years ago, and I have greatly benefited from my mobile optimized website for Google, for example. And I start winning from Google because when you, for example, Google like interview with digital transformation thought leader, influencer, my interviews appear on the page one from different websites, right? Because I have more than 40 media interviews in the world nowadays. So Google chooses my interviews just because of my strong personal brand and strong success, right? And I'm so honored that, I start winning from mobile, because I have strong presence on social. I have been interviewed worldwide. I'm a jury member. I'm an advisory board member because the web is your CV, in 2022.
So, but coming back to that question about what makes great content specifically for the mobile device, is it the letterbox? Is it the size? Is it the duration, for example, of what you're making? Is it the colors? Are there some elements of content which are specifically effective on mobile?
Yes. I think the words we choose originally are very important for Google search, right? I mean, uniquely created website. I mean, the authentic, like a bona fide website, bona fide content, that truly portray your authenticity, your true journey, and my website wins because, when they Google, for example, startup marketing mentors, my website appears in the search results. And, I have invested wisely when I create my website, and everything matters. My content, my pics, my original content. And, I think Google chooses my website wisely because, I have invested in game-changing trends a few years ago that truly work like a charm,
Okay, yeah. So I was just asking you, though, specifically, if someone is creating content
Yes.
for a mobile device, with mobile as a
Yes.
principal part of their strategy,
Yes.
what are the
Yes.
elements within content that you're creating for mobile that you should consider, as opposed to when you're creating content, for example, for LinkedIn, that's
Yes.
probably
Yes, when content includes tweets, for example, right? Truly great for Google search, the original content that stands out, content that changes the game, content that is true, original, authentic, content that shows that you have put in the work and hits the ground running. And my content, for example, my website has amazing social media links that also helps me and my Google search results, So everything matters. Every little bit helps, when it comes to stand out in a mobile only world.
okay. So, in terms of some tools that you are finding useful, what could you recommend, Vladimir? Because if you think, 100 pieces of content a week, that's more than most companies can create, let alone distribute. What tools are you recommending or using?
Jim, I recommend Brandwatch and Meltwater because, for example, Brandwatch is a amazing consumer listening platform, So you have a bird's eye view over the whole industry, what your competitors are talking and what your followers are tweeting about your brand. And so you can make better strategic, smart decisions through Brandwatch platform that uses AI technologies, to help you maximize your success, So also Meltwater is also amazing platform. But, in my case, I never depended on social media tools. I have built my Twitter organically, without scheduling my posts or tweets. I used to work 14, 15 hours a day on Twitter from 2014 to 2020. So my hard work has paid off and I'm now at the forefront of marketing and I'm in a catbird seat,
Right. But most entrepreneurs don't have that kind of time. So Brandwatch is watching, Meltwater does monitoring.
Yes.
Any content creation or generation tools that you could introduce?
I think we need to hire great graphic designers to help us create great content, For example, in my case, Jim, I'm a one-man band. So I do everything. I pedal my own canoe. I stand on my 2 feet. Nobody helped me in my journey. I do everything myself. I'm a solo entrepreneur, Jim. That's why I'm at the forefront of marketing because of my strong passion, strong work ethic, And I demand a lot from myself every single day, right? So we need to create content. We need to create videos. We need to hire video editors. I would suggest that if you can afford, you should hire a great video editor to help you record your daily journey and to share your hard work with the world.
Okay, so you're suggesting that people hire, great designers. Where would you suggest people go to find those people from, Vladimir?
I mean, LinkedIn is a great platform. Also, if you want to hire great people, you need to Google them to see what they do. And if they have great results, right? If they are renowned in their fields, and if they are literally at the forefront and epicenter of the innovation, then you should make decisions. Because I don't believe in degrees and like CV, because I disregard CV. I see what they tweet, what they blog. I check out their Facebook profiles, and also their Google results, what they do, what they achieved. So if they are graphic designers or web designers or video editors, I check out their YouTube channels. I research everyone from stem to stern to decide whether it is worth working with them or not.
Okay, right. So finally then, Vladimir, if people want to find out more about you, you've got over 100,000 followers collectively already. And if someone wants to be one of that community that's getting your pearls of wisdom daily, where would they go to find you?
They can check out my website at www.vladimerbotsvadze.com. Also, they can connect with me on LinkedIn. Also, they can follow me on Twitter at Vladimer Botsvadze. Also, follow me on Instagram at Vladimer Botsvadze. So I'm always willing to build a win-win partnership with brands to help them stand out worldwide.
Vladimir, thank you so much for joining me all the way from Georgia. It's a treasure and a pleasure. And you're my first guest to join us. And thanks for sharing about, audience centricity, mobile centricity, and above all about being selfless.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. So as always, we'll put all the details of our guest today, Vladimer Botsvadze in Georgia, in the show notes. And if you've enjoyed the show, do please share it with a fellow unnoticed entrepreneur, review and rate the show, because it really, really helps us to move up those rankings so that more people can find out what we're finding, which is all the tools and the strategies to help unlock the value in your business. Thank you. You've been listening to the show with me, Jim James, your host here in England.